What is up, San Francisco 49er fans? My name is JT Magnum and welcome to Niner News. We're going to talk about the NFL draft. Just passed up. San Francisco 49ers made their selections and there was a lot of surprises. Gotta admit, there was a lot of surprises. There was also a lot of angry 49er fans, me included at one point. I didn't take the time to really diagnose why they were making the picks they were making, but after looking at it, looking at the roster, trying to figure out, what they did, I now can give you a sense of why I think they made those picks. And let's get right into it. First of all, the first selection, which I was not a big fan of and am still really on the fence about, Eric Armstead. You got to admit, he's a big dude, 6'7", 292 pounds. The 49ers needed added depth on that defensive line. I know they have a lot of players. Quentin Dial, Tank Carradine, Dorsey, Justin Smith, who may retire, come back. We're not sure. Don't know about it. Ian Williams, Darnell Dockett, newly signed. Lawrence Okoye, who they've been developing. And Mike Purcell, I believe, who was hurt, or Caleb Ramsey, who was hurt, who's coming back this year. And they got some pretty good depth on the defensive line, but they needed some younger depth. Darnell Dockett's not going to last that long. He's only going to be there a year or two. Justin Smith, like I said, is retiring. Tank Carradine is unproven, coming off the ACL injury. It looked good last year, but that's one side of the line. You need the other side of the line. So I really liked that pickup. He's young, and after thinking about it, yeah, he has time to develop. He doesn't have to necessarily play this year. He has time to learn. He has time to grasp what's going on. He can come in situations. He can basically just take a year and learn, get bigger, lift some weights, get that technique going, and come in next year really, really strong. Not necessarily every year you have to make these draft picks to suit your needs that year. A lot of teams do that sometimes and it works. A lot of teams do it sometimes and it backfires. The Niners are a team that's drafting for the future, meaning they're trying to bring in players that suit their needs, but for the future as well, not just to fill the needs now because they feel like they have to win right now, or fill in those holes right then and there, and then disregard the players that they drafted in the past. And that's the kind of weird thing, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the round 2 selection, this is where I start to really shake my head, is when they drafted Jaquiski Tartt from Sanford. He's a really big safety, strong, fast, big, and a big hitter. Brings that Dante Whitner type attitude back to the 49ers, and he'll contribute right away in special teams. That's for sure. He actually might contribute right away on defense, given that Eric Reed has concussion problems. Antoine Bethea, who was durable last year, and had a great year, but he's, again, another player that's not going to be on the 49ers for at least another, maybe a year or two. He might not be on the 49ers after next year, or maybe the year after. And you got to develop these guys to get them ready to play for when these guys depart. And these guys will depart. They're older veterans and they will leave. They're going to take either higher money to play somewhere else, or they'll just be old and expendable. And Eric Reed's another one who has concussion problems, and it's better to have Jaquiski Tartt in there than Craig Dahl. We all know how I feel about Craig Dahl. But Jaquiski Tartt brings a nice big safety, strong, intimidating guy to be able to tackle a guy like Marshawn Lynch and those people in the future. Todd Gurley, who was just drafted by the Rams, and brings that toughness back to the Niners defense, which I like. I like that pick a lot after looking at it after a while. Now, Eli Harold. This was a good pickup because this guy was rated up high on people's drafts, and we got him pretty much in late 3rd round or middle 3rd round. And this guy's a pass rusher extraordinaire. He has, like I said, another guy that has time to develop, a year under, to get a year under his belt in that system, because the Niners have Ahmad Brooks, they have Aaron Lynch, who was a promising rookie, Aldon Smith, who obviously is a Pro Bowler and a superstar for the 49ers, Corey Lemonnier, and they don't have to necessarily throw him right in the mix. He's a guy that can lift weights, get bigger, stronger, faster, and get prepared for next year as well. He might play some this year on special teams. He might play a little bit more as well on on certain situations, maybe for pass rush issues or if somebody gets hurt. But this is added compensation. This is added mix. I know people think that they don't have to draft an outside linebacker. They need to draft a middle linebacker. But think about it. Ahmad Brooks is not going to be there. He's not going to be there after next year. I think he has, what, 1 year left on his contract, or maybe 2, but they're not going to keep him. They're going to end up releasing him. And Aldon Smith has had how many legal issue problems? How many problems is Aldon Smith going to have? Think about that. He's been in trouble with the law, and he's a free agent after this year. And who knows how much money teams are going to throw at Aldon Smith, and the Niners might not be able to hold on to him. Now, Aaron Lynch is there, but you need somebody opposite Aaron Lynch in case Aldon Smith leaves, and there's Eli Harold into the mix. And that's why I like that pick. So moving on, Blake Bell was picked up. We'll get to Mike Davis in a second. The 6'6" tight end, athletic tight end from Oklahoma. People don't understand this, but Blake Bell was a touchdown machine for Oklahoma. Ran a lot of goal line situations. He pretty much was the quarterback that came in on goal line situations. He's like a Tim Tebow type. I hate to use Tim Tebow type, but he's just one of those guys that can score in short yardage plays or get you short yardage first downs. And he's one of those just athletic, strong, gifted quarterbacks turned tight end in this case that can really bring some interesting mixes to the 49ers goal line package, with Colin Kaepernick and him in the backfield, using it as that H-back type that Delaney Walker maybe used to play back in the day, and giving the 49ers a new added dimension in the tight end game. Now, I know we already have a bunch of tight ends, but Garrett Selleck, Derek Carrier is okay. He was a fast tight end, but he's not like a Blake Bell type of athletic guy that can, and that tall of a guy that can get up and catch the ball like Blake Bell can. And I just think that, developing hip, and he'll probably make the team this year. He's not a guy that's not going to make the team. I think the 49ers are going to drop a few of their tight ends and bring this guy aboard. And Vernon Davis, he disappeared last year. I know he's still, the fastest tight end in the league, most likely. I think he is the fastest tight end in the league still. And he's very gifted, talented, and he's probably going to have a great year this year, and I hope he has a great year this year. But you got to remember, he disappeared last year, and he's got injury problems. He had some injury problems over the last few years, so it's better to bring some tight ends in and, give some competition to some of the other guys. Oh, and Vance McDonald I didn't mention. He's another guy. Injury problems, and also hasn't panned out the way the Niners have liked him to pan out. So I like that pickup. Mike Davis. Now, we needed a running back. A lot of people think, oh, don't we have Kendall Hunter? We have Carlos Hyde. We have Reggie Bush. We have Jared Hayne that we just picked up as a rugby player. But listen to those picks. Carlos Hyde, who was relatively healthy last year, but he also missed some games due to injury. Kendall Hunter missed the whole year due to injury. And then the year prior to that, he was hurt too for pretty much the whole year. Reggie Bush, who has some injury problems himself during his span of career and has not been the biggest, amazing back in his career. He had like one good 1,000 yard season or 2 1,000 yard seasons, I believe. But then on top of that, Reggie Bush is getting older up there in age, and he's only going to be on the 49ers another 1 or 2 years. He's another one of those 1 or 2 year backs that's going to come in and one and done maybe with the 49ers, because he only has, I believe, a 1 year contract. And then you have Jared Hayne. He's a rugby player. We don't know what he brings yet to the table. We don't know what type of dimension he brings. This kid, Mike Davis, if you look at his 2013 highlights, you see that he has just amazing runner. He was hurt most of all last year and didn't get to showcase his talents as much. But the year before, if you look at those 2013 highlights when he was healthy, phenomenal back. Guy just has a great burst. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, ran a lot of screen plays. This guy is almost like a Frank Gore type. He almost literally is like a Frank Gore type, but probably a little faster coming out of college. So we'll see how he does when he comes into the mix. But he should make the team as well. Jared Hayne will probably end up on the practice squad. We'll see what happens, but that's my prediction. Then we pick DeAndre Smelter, the wide receiver. Finally picked up a wide receiver in the draft. It was around 4, pick 33. And this guy's 6'2", 226. He's another burner. He's another guy that gets, he can fly down the field. He played amazing for Georgia Tech, got hurt in the last game, tore his ACL. Another one of those Trent Baalke torn ACL picks that you can redshirt for a year. But if you think about it, like I said, a lot of people wanted the 49ers to draft a receiver. I was one of them. I wanted the 49ers to draft a Dorial Green Beckham or Brashad Perryman, Devontae Parker, anybody to help this Niner team out. But if you think about it, the Niners did draft, what, 3 wide receivers in the last few years. They have Quentin Patton, Bruce Ellington. They picked up Jerome Simpson, Torrey Smith in free agency, and they have Anquan Bolden. That's 5 receivers right there. And you bring in a rookie. Yes, the rookie might be more talented if you drafted one of those, but at the same time, he's going to be the third option. He's going to be the, I don't think you can unseat a Bolden or a Torrey Smith at this point, especially coming brand new into the team, and it takes some time to learn the offense. So, especially with the way the Niners work their offense. And even then, the third option doesn't get that many looks from Colin Kaepernick, so you're going to hinder a guy's development. You're going to hinder the other guy's development that are already on the team. I think the 49ers felt comfortable with what they have, and with this guy, he can come in next year. Bolden will be gone, most likely, because he's got 1 year left pretty much on his contract. He'll be gone after next year. Bring this guy in to give some competition to the other wide receivers, and he could maybe possibly, either be the second, third, or fourth option next year, or maybe take Bolden's spot. We'll see what happens, but I like that pick. I like the way the Niners were thinking in that sense, because they've already given up their chance of getting all those other wide receivers. So, they shored up the defense. They shored up their offense with him as of next year. He'll probably redshirt this year and end on the DL basically. So moving on, this was a surprise pick. The Niners pick up Bradley Pinion. That's right, he's a punter. They picked him because he has a serious leg, and he's actually 6'5", 229. He's a big boy for a punter, and he can actually boot the ball far. He's another one of those. He's a kickoff specialist as well, basically. If you don't know what that is, basically he can. His punt basically hang time ratio is as good as Andy Lee's, who's a Pro Bowler, and Andy Lee is set to make a lot of money in the next coming years. He's set to make like this ridiculous amount of money, like $7 or $8 million in the next 2 years, and the Niners can't pay that much for a punter. As good as Andy Lee has been, as good as he's been a Pro Bowler, you can't pay a punter $4 million or $3 million a year or whatever he's getting paid. I think it's $3 than $4 million the next 2 years to punt the ball. And this guy brings a double dimension. He brings good punting skills, and on top of that, he's a kickoff specialist. Basically kick the ball out of bounds every time. Nobody's going to be able to return kickoffs against the 49ers. And then on top of that, he has a serious hang time on his punts. There's going to be a lot of fair catches, not many people running back punts on us. That helps the special teams. That helps everybody out in that special teams game. So I like that a lot. We'll see how the competition ends up in San Francisco for that punter's job. But I really like the pickup. It saves you on the salary cap. And I just wish they did it a little later in the draft. But anyways, moving on, they pick up Ian Silverman, the guard from Boston College, transfer from Florida. About 6'5", 294, another big guard. And I don't know too much about him. I just know that he's pretty much a mauler as well when it comes to the ground game. And we'll see how he fits out. Probably most likely end up being a practice squad player. And then there's the round 7, pick 27, the big boy, Trenton Brown. 6'8", 355. Guy is just a tremendous run blocker. He's a mauler. He has big, huge hands, big, long arms. The guy can just maul you off the line of scrimmage. Not the greatest in the passing game. He's actually a tackle. I think the 49ers are going to move him to guard, but he did mention that he was going to play tackle. So we'll see how that pans out, because I'm not sure how that's going to work. But it's looking like the 49ers are trying to get more of that ground and pound offensive guys back, because obviously Alex Boone might leave in free agency. There's some concerns with Brandon Thomas and Marcus Martin, who might be those players. They're coming back off of injuries from last year, especially Brandon Thomas, who's expected to start at left guard in place of Iopati, who bolted for free agency. A lot of people forget that we drafted those guys, and that we drafted them and basically redshirted them, and they came back this year. But these guys are promising offensive linemen, and we have them for the future. And then these guys will come in and see what we'll see what they can do for the other guys that might depart in free agency in the future as well. And then the last pick, Rory Busta Anderson, the tight end from South Carolina. Very athletic tight end, very fast. Not the best of hands, not the best route runner either. He's pretty raw, but they liked him a lot. He's another guy that's going to redshirt this year. He, I believe, has torn triceps 2 years in a row, and he's a little bit injury prone. So they're probably going to keep him on the practice squad, or probably not the practice squad, but they'll probably basically put him on the disabled list, and he'll be gone for the rest of the year. But he's another promising tight end. He's 6'5", 244. He can get up there and catch the ball as well. So the 49ers are planning for the future. They're trying to see if they can get guys that will basically take over for the guys that leave in the future. So let me know your thoughts on the draft. I know that a lot of people were angry. They didn't draft the cornerback, and they didn't draft the wide receiver early, and they didn't draft a middle linebacker at all. But remember, the Niners have middle linebackers. They signed Philip Wheeler the day of the draft. They have Desmond Bishop. They have Ahmad Brooks, who can swing to the middle on certain situations. Michael Wilhoit has proven to be a very capable backup and a very capable player, starting alongside Navarro Bowman. The only question I have there is how Navarro Bowman's knee will hold up for the year. But as far as I've heard and as far as I've seen, he looks great. He's playing great. He feels great, and he should be nothing but an asset. If you know Navarro Bowman, he was the best middle linebacker on that team. Even when Patrick Willis was on there, he developed into pretty much a better player than even Patrick Willis was. They did different things, but even Patrick Willis said how amazing it was, and it was great to see them two play. Unfortunately, we can't anymore, but put anybody alongside Michael Wilhoit, and we'll see what happens. Also, the guy Jaquaski Tart, he's big enough to play not inside linebacker, but he's good enough to play one of those hybrid safety linebacker roles where you can blitz a guy like that coming in, and he's tough enough, kind of like what Arizona does with Deion Buchanan and players like that. They blitz their safeties in. That's the kind of mode I think they're going to do. So it makes you able to have players like that in the field and compensate for other players being gone, a la Patrick Willis and Chris Borland. So we'll see what happens with that, but let me know your thoughts. And also, the black jerseys are in effect. The 49ers introduced their new jersey colors. Let me know what you think about them. I thought they were pretty cool. The only thing I wish they had was gold trimming on the numbers and on the stripes. It was weird because there was just black and red, and then there was like only gold was like on the Nike symbol or something like that. I just wish like there was gold trimming on that 7 or for Colin Kaepernick, basically on the numbers, just gold trimming around that red and then gold trimming around the stripes there. I thought that would have made it look really, really cool. Funny thing is, I used to design those kind of jerseys on Madden when I played Madden, when you were able to design jerseys for your teams and everything. I used to design black jerseys because I used to just love the idea of a black 49er jersey. I know it's horrible because it probably seems like Raiders colors, but black and red and gold would just seem really, really cool to design, and I really am a fan of that. So let me know what you guys thought about the jerseys. Let me know what you guys think about the draft picks, and that's it. Sorry the video's so long, but I had a lot of draft picks to talk about. So thank you very much for watching. Take care. Don't forget to leave a like in the video, and peace out. JT Magnum out. Niner News. Peace.